And as you know, I don't drink beer.
Uh-huh.
So now it's like an opaque green now or something. I don't know. It's fermenting.
Fermenting. It's
Yeah,
fermenting.
yeah.
You're trying to age the beer.
Do you know that in the history of St. Patrick's Day celebration, a gazillion years ago, it was originally considered a dry holiday?
No way.
Wow.
Who
Did
changed?
that switch?
Who changed it? Was it the Wallaces? Who changed it?
Probably them.
Yeah,
Probably the Wallaces and Guinness. No, if it were the Wallaces,
Yeah,
it'd be wine.
yeah, but still, you can have green wine.
You know what
I'm sure they know how to do it.
You know what I thought was cute though? They they canceled all the festivities in Chicago, and then overnight they said they weren't going to dye the river, and then overnight they surprised.
They did it.
Still dyed the river.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
You know, that was so sweet that they surprised their community like that. I thought that was
When you said that, Rocky, I was just going to say they're not going to dye the river.
well, that's they said they're canceling the festivities, so that's a big, you know, I'd say in Chicago is like one of the biggest parts of the country. And they said we're canceling all the festivities. We're not going to dye the river, and then everyone woke up this morning.
They dyed the river. Yeah. Oh, nice. That's nice.
You know, the oldest parade in history, St. Patrick's Day parade, is New York City. It goes back to like 1762, I think it is.
Wow.
Wow.
Kidding.
That's
Okay.
cool.
So remember, did you guys go down to Detroit a year ago on St. Patty's Day and celebrate and do the whole bar thing at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning?
No.
No?
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I literally never.
No, I've never done that. I've been to the Detroit St. Patrick's Day parade.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't even know they did a parade.
Yeah.
I've been to the Detroit St. Patrick's Day parade, but no, bars, no.
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 Well, do you guys believe in luck? Let's talk about luck.
Yes, 7 is my lucky number.
Wait, what is?
7.
It is? Why
Yes.
is it your lucky number?
Because 7 is the lucky number.
All right.
11,
That's what
11
it
is my lucky number.
Okay.
11. Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Do you believe in luck as far as like when good things happen to you, is it because of luck?
No, I don't believe that.
I like to believe in it.
You do?
I don't.
I don't know. I think I
No,
know.
I don't believe it that far.
Rationalize things in my head, but I think I'd like to believe in it. Yeah,
Okay.
you know, like
Okay.
there are some things I feel like you can't explain, and I think that's a nice. I don't know. Yeah, I believe in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe that people are more or less lucky than other people.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
that like I'm a luckier person. I
Okay.
just do believe in luck.
Like
You know,
that there
yeah. Like I
is
believe that there's
luck.
like divine
Okay.
intervention.
Different than miracles.
I would say they're one and the same in my head. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, divine intervention wouldn't be luck. That would be divine intervention.
Intervention.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
they're kind of one and the same. I don't know. In my head, they're like wrapped up in one little pretty bow. And like,
So okay, I believe that I'm always lucky to be on a plane with a complaining person right behind me
So
or
is
in
that
front of me. They're
is it
always in the
good luck
vicinity.
or bad luck? Nora?
Right.
That is bad luck.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
on my part.
well, Nora, so Nora over the weekend sends me a picture of her somewhere beautiful. I said, "Oh, I'm thinking it's an old picture." She goes, "No, I'm in Arizona." I'm like, "Right now, you're in Arizona. We have a show on Wednesday." She goes, yeah, I'll be home. I'm like, okay. Just
So look, Jackie, so I get to the airport early, and I'm in Tucson. So I get on the plane, I'm going to Dallas and then to Detroit. So I get on the plane in Dallas to come to Detroit, plane's packed. So it takes forever to get on. You finally are on, everybody's in their seat. I have this couple behind me and they're asking the other guy if the girl can sit. He's like, "Can my girl sit with me?" And blah, blah, blah. So he was nice enough to move and let them sit together. So the flight attendant is trying to find out, because they're doing all this before the plane takes off and everything. So the guy's trying to find his seat. And so there's confusion. So she asked for their ticket. They give him the ticket. And then they're behind me. So some kind of way, I guess when she gave the tickets back to them, the girl goes, she threw the tickets at me. And, like I was a dog. And I mean, she just like went off and loud. She started threatening the lady and everything. So then the flight attendant came back and apologized and said, I dropped the tickets. I didn't mean, if you thought that, I apologize. She was very, nice about it. But of course, she, I guess, wanted to be the center of attention or thought she was really doing something. So shortly after that, the flight attendant another one comes over and she leans over and she says, the captain would like to speak to you. So she gets up and she walks down the aisle like she owns the plane, right? And all the time I'm thinking to myself, because I almost turned around and said, you better shut up, they're going to put you off the plane. But she was so animated and going on. I was like, nope, I'm not getting in it. Sometimes people have to learn, right?
Yeah.
So she's up there and everybody's like looking and whatever. So then the flight attendant comes back and she leans over with the boyfriend and she says, she's not going to be on this flight. Are you with her? And she goes, I can help you with the things if you need help, come, and they put him off. So, and we're all like, duh. So my question is, why do you think that when you get on a plane,
right,
and that you have the control? That's what I don't understand.
People are like that anywhere they go. I feel like there's some sort of ego.
Yeah.
But still, if I'm trying to get home, I would check my ego. If I'm trying to get home.
And on a plane, on a plane, it's no nonsense. Like they're not messing around.
Exactly. And she threatened the flight attendant. Everybody heard it.
Like as they should not be. Like that's one place I don't want anyone to be messing around.
Right, right. And the captain is in charge of the whole crew.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was like, oh, I'm not having anybody on here that's going to threaten my crew, and that was the end of that. So after that, we lost our place in line on the runway. So we were 15 planes behind.
Oh my God.
20, and this took about 30 minutes. So 20 more minutes, which took like 40. So I didn't get home until it was after 11. Then I had to drive here. So I didn't get here until it was like 2:00 in the morning or something like that. And then, you have to kind of wind down because I couldn't believe that all of that happened.
Yeah.
So you're lucky I'm here, ladies.
Do you think alcohol was involved in some of her demeanor?
No. She just thought she was in charge, and she got they showed her who was in charge. That's all it was.
And people need to learn, just keep your head down. Don't make eye contact. Follow it is not that hard.
It really isn't. But I
didn't say, go ahead and take off.
Yeah.
No.
And then I would have had a lot to change by the time we got home.
But this is the funny thing. When she started, he was like, just calm down, just chill. And she was like, no, where's the supervisor and all this? So then before she got all the way done, he was joining her. He wasn't threatening the flight attendant or anything, but he was right in it with her. So she brought him along. Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe he's scared of her.
Nora, that's called bad luck for you.
That's what I said.
Listen, yeah. A year ago, yesterday was the first day of the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's so weird.
This is the longest 2 weeks of our whole lives.
Right. Yeah, it does not seem. It seems like it's been longer. So I just can't believe it.
Well,
but we've come a long way. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. Well, we have a great show today, and we have somebody on who has made great use of their lockdown time by so let's get going. Nora?
Yes, I got this, lady. This segment is designed to showcase the stories of talented individuals who had a wish and found a way to make it happen. They set goals, overcame obstacles, and turned setbacks into comebacks. Their stories are unique interesting, and most of all, inspiring.
We have a guest this week that puts us all to shame with the list of jobs and things that she does. She is an artist, a therapist, a singer, and a songwriter, just to name a few of the jobs. I'm sure there's more, but I'm, hitting the highlights. She's a therapist at Mariners Inn Treatment Center and Shelter in Detroit. Also the Greater Impact House in Detroit, and the co-founder of the Solstice Healing Arts Collective, which is a group of passionate therapists and artists committed to providing creative art therapy. That's just the start of the list. Carrie Ann has just is currently working on her debut album with Greater Alexander, an accomplished Detroit musician. So please welcome Carrie Ann as she shares how she uses art to create, to heal, and to grow. Just a few of the things this Wonder Woman does.
Welcome. Hi,
guys. Well, I wasn't nervous, but now I feel a little nervous. That.
Relax.
Can't read the whole list.
I know.
Kind of went back and forth because we do our pre-show meetings and we talk and we're like, how are we going to start the show? And it's like, you are like the embodiment of what an artist is, just through and through, and using it in every way possible to express, to help people, to grow and to heal. So I think the best place for us to start with you, because there's just so much here to unpack, is how did you kind of get started in art? Like, when did you realize that this was your calling and your passion?
Well, I feel a little bit, speaking of luck, I feel a little bit lucky in that when I was little, I was drawn to it right off the bat. As soon as I could hold a pencil, I was like looking around and observing and always trying to capture what was around me. I remember being in restaurants and flipping that placemat over and sketching, and also lucky that my parents were super, super supportive. They saw that in me and they were just like, let's nurture this. Let's help her get to where she wants to go. I think that's such a huge thing in life, is you got to have a support team. You got to have people behind you. Definitely would not be doing all these things if I didn't have that. I come from a pretty awesome family, so I'm lucky in that, and have amazing friends that also help support me and promote me and all the good things. So yeah, I was really young when I realized I loved art, and whenever people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I always just said artist. I always just knew. And some people just, I don't know, like I meet adults that still don't know what they want to do in their life.
Yeah, right.
And it's not a bad thing at all. I feel like it was so ingrained in me from such a young age that there was never a question that I would do anything else. So yeah.
That's amazing. What would you tell an adult who says they don't know what they want to do?
That's a good question. I think I would tell them to think about what they're curious about, think about what makes them happy, and just to know that there's a place in the world for them for whatever they want to do. If they want to pick car colors, there's a job for that. If they want to rake leaves, there's a job for that too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, did you, once your parents realized that that's, something that you were good at or that you were passionate about, did you have lessons, or did it just come natural to you?
Both. My mom would say that I would draw things and it would actually look like what I was supposed to look like, not like a little kid drawing all the time. So I think they saw some talent early on, but I did take lessons. I took all the art classes I possibly could, but whenever I had a substitute teacher once, and I was in I think I was in first grade, and she was sketching on a break, and she was such a good drawer. I was like, I want to take lessons with you. So my mom signed me up, and Saturday mornings I missed my cartoons and went and drew instead.
Oh, wow.
Draw on the cartoons instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a cartoonist, but I can. I don't.
Again, when did you get into music?
Music was kind of the same. So my dad is an artist and my mom is a musician. So both of them was already around. Yep. So there's pictures of me when I was really little. As soon as I could reach the keys, I was hitting the piano keys. I started playing guitar when I was 9 and piano when I was really little. And I think just always trying to piece sounds together to see what goes together. And I was in band for 5 years, but I never really got that great at reading music. I play by ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to take music lessons. My mom's a music teacher.
Oh, wow.
So much to her disappointment, I did not learn to read music that well. She tried to teach me, but yeah, it kind of slowed me down. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing my thing and not, push it.
Do you have siblings?
I do. Yeah.
And are they also creative in some way?
I think they are, but they would say that they're not. So
No, I just wondered how much of this was nurture over nature.
yeah, I
With
think my brother, I have one brother who's also a musician. He would like scoff at me saying that, but he plays banjo and guitar. And then yeah, I think my other siblings they get their creativity out in other ways. But yeah.
So let me ask you this, when you graduated high school and you were going to college and people said, what are you going to be, or what are you going to school for? And you said, art, I'm going to be an artist. What kind of reaction did you get from people?
A lot of people were like, you can't make a living at that. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's just a hobby. And I just stuck to my guns. I was like, no, I can make this work. So, yeah. And I by that point I had discovered art therapy already. I originally thought I was going to do music therapy, but, in that search, I realized you have to read music really well and know theory and all of that. So I kind of steered from there, but I discovered art therapy when I was researching, and it was like one of those light bulb moments where I was like, okay, I love to help people. I love to make art. People are just fascinating to me anyway. So realizing that there's a career like that, it just kind of clicked. So I think at that point when I was graduating, I was already saying I was going to be an art therapist. So
oh, wow. So do you
About
think,
art therapy.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Tell us about art therapy and what exactly it means to be an art therapist and how it helps your clients.
So it's an alternative to talk therapy. It's different than what like a psychotherapy session would look like. When people go in to get counseling, a lot of times they're just, sitting in front of someone and talking. But in an art therapy session, I cater the session to them depending on their specific goals using art media. So sometimes I'll bring clay in, sometimes we'll use painting, drawing, sculpture, and it all ties back to what their specific goal is or what they're trying to get through in life. So Mariners Inn, where I work, one of the places where I work, it's a treatment center for men who are dealing with addiction and homelessness. So the needs of that population are going to look different to needs of another population. So I just try to meet people where they are as far as their goals and whatnot. But it's really fascinating. You can tell so much about someone by the way they use art materials and by what they create. So an art therapy session is about moving through that creative process. It's not about like learning how to do a specific skill. It's not an art class. It's about the creative process, the resulting artwork, and seeing what they learn about themselves through that process. And then we can discuss it afterwards. And it's pretty mind-blowing what, how much people learn about themselves. And
Carrie Ann, do you have a client that, or have you had clients that say, no, not so much, like I'm not good at this, like they have to overcome that initial obstacle of creating or expressing or taking that, that jump into that medium that they may not be comfortable with?
Yeah.
Before you answer, I want to piggyback on what Gina said, because you were saying that you use clay and you use paint or whatever. So how do you know what to use for each person? How do you come up with that? Like, I'm going to use clay this time, or I'm going to do paints.
A lot of it comes from knowing the mediums a lot myself, but a lot of it, honestly, I just lead into my intuition, and I have a master's degree in it. It's so I have bachelor's in fine arts, but then a master's in art therapy. So it's a lot of schooling. And I think a lot of people think I'm just like the arts and crafts lady, but
Yeah.
so much psychology goes into it. So I kind of like lead into my schooling, seeing where people are resistant depending on their personality and what medium will kind of push them just enough to get them into a flow state and get them into like a meditative place.
Wow, that's
Okay.
really cool. Now, is
Yeah.
that type of therapy in place of traditional therapy?
They get, I know in Mariners Inn, they get both. So each person is assigned a therapist. They have to come to art therapy and they have other didactics. So I don't ever, want to take the place of another healing modality. I think it's a great addition. I think it just depends on each person. For me, like I've been in therapy for so long. And for me, I think making something and having a mechanism to physically move me from one place to another and having something physical in front of me helps me a lot more than just talking. So I like, if I feel like that, I'm sure lots of people feel like that too. But there definitely are those people who are like, I'm not an artist. And I'm like, good, that's even better. Because I think when you're trained as an artist, you get caught up in the aesthetics of what you're trying to make. You feel like it has to look a certain way, but if someone doesn't have any classical art training at all, it's really raw and vulnerable, and it's going to come from a really deep place that doesn't have any training. So I always encourage people, I'm like, everyone is creative and an artist, and it's just whether or not you're willing to tap into that part of yourself to learn more about who you are.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
between that and music, because you've been doing music at the same time, then you started working at the Forge.
Mm-hmm.
That was called.
Yeah, so the Forge is an artist residency. I lived there from 2017 to 2018. So I found that, and I kind of realized this in art school, that being surrounded by artists is really helpful for your own momentum. So I did the Red Bull House of Arts years ago and kind of found the same thing, that like it's really powerful for your own practice to be surrounded with people who are going to push you and who are going to challenge you. So it's important for me to live in an artist residency and see that. Then my friends put the house up for sale. My sister fell in love with the project, so she bought the house, and now we kind of tag team and run it together.
Oh,
So
wow.
Oh, nice.
it's really
That's
fun.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so from there, you co-founded another business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The Solstice?
Yep.
Solstice Healing Art.
So what
Collective.
exactly is that?
So it's encompassed by me and 3 other art therapists, and we run individual and group therapy out of a little adorable art studio in Bloomfield Hills. And lately, I mean, since COVID, we've done a lot of stuff virtual, which has been a beautiful tool to connect with people. But yeah, we're artists that came together that wanted to give people an opportunity to try art therapy who aren't in treatment. And we kind of say, a lot of people who might be in treatment are working on something specific or have gone through something really hard, but everybody needs to have this outlet of some kind. So we're kind of like, it's wellness for well people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, especially right now with like the stresses of the world. And I think people are really realizing like they have to have an outlet to express themselves. And so, yeah, so we're art therapists that work together. So we'll do groups, we'll co-facilitate things, but we'll do things on our own as well. And I've kind of realized since COVID too, that I want to create even more content for people to use. So I'm developing courses that people can purchase and they can do in the comfort of their home. So it's kind of like, remember how people would watch Bob Ross and there's just this like magic to watch someone paint. I'm kind of like taking that, and I'll be making art alongside of people, but talking about therapeutic practices while I paint, draw.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So
a great
Kind of-
idea. When are you
yeah, so
back?
that's in the works as
You know what?
well.
I can tell
Another
you,
job.
Another job, yeah.
I can tell you from my own experience. So Carrie Ann, I was a classroom teacher for 30 years.
Amazing.
And I actually have an art degree. So I used art a lot in my classroom. And one of the things that the kids always enjoyed the most was like drawing. And I am not a good drawer, but I know how to like look at shapes and look at things or find resources, that kind of thing. But I will tell you from my own experience that kids who are having a hard time, you give them that freedom to express themselves, and they can create a world
Mhm.
that is so amazing and that brings out that difficulty or brings out that special piece of them. Talk about how you see some of these changes in your own patients as
Mhm.
you're giving them the opportunity to express. Like, what do you notice?
Well, I think when a lot of people come in, especially because I work primarily now with all men, a lot of them don't, I mean, we're all women. And so we are used to moving through the world as a woman, and we have this sense of community and we're allowed to express ourselves. But that population oftentimes feel like they have to not show emotion. They're not able to cry. They're not able to express themselves. So finding mediums for them to work through. Like I have a pretty great leather workshop in the art room. So if I can get them in the door by like making a belt or by working with leather or a wallet or something that has function, then they realize that they are making art. They're just doing it in a way that they can use. So, and it's really interesting because a lot of those clients, had one teacher who like are resistant to making art, had one teacher who said they couldn't do it, or one person in their life were like, you can't draw. So then they defined that whole time after by what that one person said, like, oh, well, I'm not an artist. This one person at one point when I was 6 said that I'm not an artist, so I'm not. And I'm
we
like,
do that in life. We all do it.
so many things.
Power of
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like I love those moments when people, for one, realize that they can do it, and they also start something, they finish something, and they get this light bulb moment, and they're just so proud of what they've done. It's just, yeah, there's nothing like it.
Wow.
So really, it's not about what they're creating. It's about teaching them the process or having them discover that they can do the process. Is that
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah, I tell them, I'm like, if you finish making something and then it feels good to you to throw it in the trash, throw it in the trash. That's part of it. Sometimes we make things that aren't pretty, that we don't want to keep, that we don't want to remember. It's about getting things that are in your head out into the world so they're not in your head anymore. You can look at it at a distance, and you can look at it in a therapeutic relationship with someone that you trust, and that, you discuss it, and then it's out of you. It's not stuck in there anymore. And I think
a session usually lasts for somebody?
At work, we work about an hour, but a sweet spot for me is about 90 minutes.
Okay.
Because then we have time to set up, we have time to kind of get into a flow state, which is like when you lose track of time, you kind of lose track of what you're doing. And it has the same effect on the brain as meditation. So once you get into that, then we kind of move out of it, and then we discuss what they've made. It's about 90 minutes. Sometimes it goes longer, but that's about what it is.
And so from there, you now partnered with a musician from Detroit and Greater Alexander.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. And you guys purchased a house in Detroit, and you're starting another business, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Another business.
Juggling.
And Carrie Ann, you're really making us look like we don't.
You guys are running a podcast. That's a lot of work. That's like 5 jobs in itself.
So tell us about it.
So yeah, my partner Alexander is a musician, and we kind of had similar goals. Like we met, and we both had been involved with art residencies ourselves. He's part of Assemble Sound in Detroit. And I think it was important for both of us to create a safe space for artists to come and create. And we're kind of at that same point in our lives where we are substance free, and we realize that it's quite hard to work in an area where some people are sober, some people are not. And we're like, well, what if we just create a space where that's just not, it's just removed from the equation? And I think a lot of artists in general, and especially in Detroit, are struggling with substance use. And now I work, in that field. So it's all kind of coming full circle. So yeah, we're creating, it's called Greater Impact House. It's in Detroit, and it's geared toward artists who are career driven. So it could be visual artists, musicians, multimedia artists, and it's geared towards them who want to sort of raise their own awareness of their mental health, physical health, and we'll be there to support them. So long-term goal is that we'll finish renovating the house, we'll be there full time, and then we'll have artists rent day space or live there with us for a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
where is that?
It's like Grand and Grand. So it's down the street from Motown Museum.
Oh,
And so it's like part of Detroit that has so much history. The street itself is pretty desolate. I think there's only on our block like 2 other houses that are alive. Other ones have been demoed this last couple months, and the other ones are, need to come down or be bought. So
How'd
it's
you
a very
pick the
quiet
area?
street. He found this house off auction. So it's a triplex. It's massive. It's really big. And he got the house for $5,000.
Wow.
So it needs some love, but the bones of the house are really good, and we're excited to renovate it and make it our own and be creative about how we put things together. So he kind of picked the area just by he spent 2 years looking at different areas, looking at different houses on auction. And we have a friend who's a realtor, and she does this. She buys houses off auction for cheap, flips them, and then creates affordable living for people to come and move.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So now do you have a timeline of when you think it's going to be ready?
Yeah, we're right in the middle of fundraising. So we're trying to fundraise all of the money to fix up the house. So hopefully in the next 3 months, we can get enough money to fix the roof. That's the big thing. It's like you can't do anything with the house until the roof is done. So hopefully we'll get that crowdfunded, and all that's on. If you go to greaterimpacthouse.com, you can select, a place to tour the house. We have an exhibition up right now. And
nice.
Place to support. So hopefully by the end of this summer, we'll have the roof done, and I feel like we'll just be demoing and doing a lot of stuff. And we hope by next year we'll actually be living in it and chipping away at certain things, and then by that time next year, hopefully we can start using it for day space as well. And artists are already using it. Like we're renting out the grand piano that's in there that got donated to the house. People are using it for photography, film projects.
Oh, wow.
We make art there ourselves. That's where I'm recording most of the album right now. So the house, even though it's pretty like disheveled in some sense, it's still very activated, and it's really inspiring to see like 100 years worth of wallpaper peeling.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
Newspaper under linoleum from the 50s.
Uh-huh.
I love stuff like that. So I think it's so inspiring, and we're going to try to keep that, authenticity of the house through we don't want to just make it all new and modern. We want to hold on to the history and the families that were there.
Is the business, is that going to be a nonprofit or?
So we're fiscally sponsored by a nonprofit, by Fractured Atlas. So they help artists, organizations have nonprofit status without going through all the paperwork.
Okay.
So that's a really good resource for us. So anybody that donates to the house can write it off on their taxes, which is really awesome. But we also at some point would like to just be part of a nonprofit in the house. We want to create a room called the Sunflower Room, where it can be a place for whatever anyone's dealing with, no questions asked. They'll have a place to sleep. So kind of like dealing with, people, if it's homelessness or substance use disorder, like whatever it is, if you just need a place to crash and people to be around and like a fresh meal, we'll have a room for you. So that's kind of later down the line, but at some point we'll have that.
You called it the Sunflower Room. Does the Sunflower have a semblance, or is that just a name you picked?
Yeah, so Alexander's sister passed away a little over a year ago by suicide, and she loved sunflowers, and so it's kind of dedicated to her. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
us offering something to the community that can just be a support system for people who don't, have it. And like I said earlier, I'm blessed with a family that's really supportive, and I feel like because I grew up with that, I just want to dedicate my life to people who don't have that.
You're
So,
giving back. Oh, that's
Wow,
wonderful.
that's amazing.
When
mhm.
did, when did you go from artist to entrepreneur?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like as
Mhm.
artists, we're always kind of hustlers. We got to do a billion things at once. I think I realized I wanted to own my own business though when I was in grad school, and talking with other art therapists and who ended up being the people, I started Solstice with, which is kind of cool. But I kind of realized that I want to be able to work for myself and, spend my time the way I'd like to spend my time and offer things that I want. So,
What's amazing is that it's not like you're doing all these businesses online. You're actually buying brick and mortar. I mean, that's
Mhm.
pretty risky,
yeah.
um, especially to have so many of them going on. And you don't usually hear about people that are artists going out and, well, I'm going to buy this building, start this, that,
Right.
renovate that. Um, is there no fear of failure? Do you ever worry about, like, what if it doesn't work out? These are, all those investments add up.
Yeah. I feel like I have a interesting view on failure, and maybe it's naive on my part, but I don't ever really feel like we're failing at anything. It's like if we try and it doesn't work, it's just how it is. And then we reevaluate, reconfigure, and try a different
Try
way.
something else. Yeah.
We're always going to learn something from that failure. So really it's just having to switch gears. So that's kind of how I see it. Maybe I'm being too gentle with myself. It could completely
Oh,
flop, but
how did you develop that mentality though? Because
Right.
so many people are just afraid to try.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
I
They're
don't,
afraid.
I honestly don't know. I had such horrible anxiety when I was a kid. Like I would have panic attacks the night before school started every year up till high
Wow.
school. And I think I just got to the point where I'm like, what am I so scared of? Like once you realize like people don't really care that much about you, it's like
Right.
all this pressure is off your shoulders. You're like, oh, well, I can just
Mhm.
create and manifest the life that I want. No one really cares. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. What kind of fundraisers, or do you have fundraisers planned for the Greater Impact House to help raise
So,
money?
yeah. So right now we have a Kickstarter going. So if you go to that website, thegreaterimpacthouse.com, and you can actually watch the video. We've had a couple filmmakers come in and help us create Kickstarter videos and stuff. So you can watch the interview with Alexander, and they've made these beautiful films. So that's up. You can watch that to learn more about the project. And then if you support the campaign, there's a button like how you can help button that you can click
Mhm.
there. And we're actually doing a talk on the 28th, so in a little over a week, where we have some Wayne State students who have put together a presentation for us for their senior thesis project. Their business,
Cool.
yeah, they're music business students, and so they've picked us to kind of be their catalyst. And we're inviting a bunch of people to come in and just learn more about the house, ask us questions, watch our presentation. So I think just people support by, obviously monetary, really important, unfortunately, to get everything going. But just visiting the house and getting to know the neighborhood and us and the project that's going. The exhibition that's up right now is really cool. So Alexander has been working on an album for 10 years, and he's created shadow boxes for each song that he's made. So the liner notes are one shadow box per song. So when you walk in, you scan a QR code, you get headphones, and an app comes up where you can listen to each segment of the song and his commentary for each shadow box. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt through the house. You find
wow.
is on the floor, and then you wind through all the way to the attic. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool. So
Oh.
we had this idea, like even before he had the house, we're like, well, maybe we'll do it at a gallery, and each piece can have a headphones, but this is so much more immersive because you're in this old, beautiful house alone with headphones and wandering around, and it's really fun actually. And the art is just mind blowing. So
that is really
yeah.
You also are recording an album,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about the album.
Well, there's songs I've been working on, probably the same, about 10 years or maybe more. And I'm really trying to like get to the point of, thinking, and I'm sure like Rocky, you can think of this too, of like what concisely is going to go together on an album. So I've got tons of songs, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, what exactly do I want to put out into the world musically? What message do I want to put forward? There's some songs that I wrote that were pretty like angsty before, and I'm like, do I want to send that out at this point? I don't know. So yeah, Alexander's helping me record it and layering it with me, and it's that part to me is just, it gives me something that making physical art can't do. It just taps into such a deep part of me. It's so cathartic. So
you've written all your songs? Have you written all of this? Wow.
Is this the first time you recorded and put out an album, or single?
Yeah, I kind of dabbled in it when I was in high school, but I would never show anyone what I actually recorded. I'm so embarrassed about it. But the first like, professional one, yeah.
What is how would you describe the genre and describe the music?
I'd say it's like indie folk.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of a little bluesy. I think being in Detroit for so long now, I feel like Motown is in my blood, I guess, in a sense. It's just all around me and I love it so much. So I get really inspired by those old classic singers, and I catch myself, kind of like emulating that with my own voice a little bit, with just that deep soul. Like I sing for my clients a lot. That's become a big part of my art therapy sessions. So they always tell me like, Miss Karen, you got some soul. So yeah, it's fun.
Is songwriting and music your therapy, your form of?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's so personal. Yeah.
With everything you do, it's all obviously thrown into this fabric of helping with people. It's like, when do you get to just
fill your cup back up? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think writing music is a big, big part of that. Like if I've ever going through something in life I'm not quite understanding or I'm like confused about, it always kind of comes out in a song, and it helps me process what I'm going through. And sometimes it's like years later and I'll re-listen to it or revisit it. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense that I would write about that at that specific time. And art making similar. Sometimes we'll paint things that we don't quite understand. And then years go by, we look back and we're like, oh, well.
now I know. So I ask this question all the time. Do you wake up out of your sleep with a song in your head?
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I'll dream music. Not all the time, but I would say I either dream about a song or dream about an art piece or something.
Oh, wow. I see. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So what do you want your legacy to be?
That's a good question. Well, I think the beauty of being an artist is that you are creating things that live past you. So I kind of like that idea of like having this physical record of my life through the art I create and eventually the music. So like that'll live beyond me, but I just want to make the world a little bit better. As cliche as that sounds, like there's a lot of people that need support and help and just to feel better in their own skin. And I'm like, and if I can just do that a little, help them, I feel like that's all I really want to do.
Wow. It sounds like that whole mission is gonna live way past you, not just the art, but just everything you're doing to make a difference. It's unbelievable. So I wonder if that's why it's so seems like it's easy for you to just go start a business as you have such a bigger mission or purpose than, opening a business and trying to make a buck.
Yeah, for sure. And I was, I tell Alexander, I'm like, it's already working. People are already reaching out to us, even if we're not living in the house yet. It's already created this like little community of people reaching out and seeing what they can do to help. So yeah, I think, and again, that goes back to that, view of failure. It's not really a failure. It's you just trying something. I think I have a hard time sitting still as well. So like if I'm not working on something, then I'm like, okay, what can I be doing? So this kind of helps
When do you
me.
think the album will be done?
I'm hoping it'll be done in a year. We're kind of like have this timeline of like a song every month, recording it and then putting it out. So I'll probably, and I'm so like new at knowing how to like put an album together, but I'll probably just release things as singles and then kind of have like an album release show if we're able to have that at that point. But
That would be fun.
that would be so.
Yeah.
I see there's going to be greater impact houses in every city. Like there's going to be
Yeah.
Impact House Chicago.
And I love the name.
Yeah,
Greater
I do
Impact.
too.
That's cool. Do you guys have a Facebook page for Greater Impact?
yeah, yep. There's a Facebook page.
I have
Facebook
some
and Instagram.
I have some websites here too.
Okay.
It's greaterimpacthouse.com.
Yep.
The Solstice Healing Arts Collective.com
Yep.
and the Forge Detroit.com.
Yep.
Those
And
are
then if you want to see my artwork too, I'm like, that's so funny I didn't send that to you. If you want to see my own artwork, you can go to disgrayandspenshannah.com and see it's like set up as a portfolio. So you can see
very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you sell your artwork?
What did you say?
Do you sell your art?
I do. Yep. I show at a gallery called M Contemporary in Ferndale. So I'm lucky that I have a gallerist and she'll help me, move my work. But a lot of times it'll just, I'll do a commission or someone will see something that they like. Instagram has been great for that. It's been really helpful. So
Oh, wow.
I did
Yeah, I
tap
do.
her Instagram on our Instagram as well and my own. So
yeah,
Carrie Ann, do you do custom art?
I do. Yep.
Okay. Is there anything you don't do or with art?
Well, what's so funny is I don't like, as far as like cartoons or caricature, like that's sort of not in my, realm of expertise. Or like people always want me to design tattoos, which I'm happy to try, but I feel like it's so much pressure. I'm like, I've said yes before and I will do it, but no guarantees that it's going to be 100% what you want. So
any possibility that you guys will do like some type of music fundraiser for the Greater Impact House? Like
yeah, for sure.
Or anything like that?
We were talking about that. Like when it warms up, we just kind of want to do a concert on our porch and face the street and have people like wander in and wander out. And also like,
oh, good idea.
Welcoming to the neighbors, whoever's walking by. And we've done concerts in the house already. Just COVID has just really put a damper on how many people we can get in. So that way, like if it's outside, then we could probably gather some more people.
Have you mingled or networked with the people at Motown at Hitsville?
Not yet. That's cool. Yeah. I've actually haven't been there yet. I think I'm going to try to go. I know. I knew you were going to make that.
She does it all the time. Yeah. Because I've never been either. And I lived right down the street.
Go. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be good.
That's a great place. But from what I understand, they bought back the homes that they originally had next to them.
Cool.
Is that true? Did you hear that?
Yeah, and they're putting like millions of dollars into renovations right now, which is cool.
That's exciting for you guys to be.
I know.
Yeah, that
awesome.
area is definitely making a huge comeback.
Yeah.
Well, not to shift gears here, but if anybody watched the Grammys, did you guys see Bruno Mars?
Oh yeah.
And, was that the Temptations or what?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I didn't yet.
You didn't see it?
Oh, you got to go on.
Man,
so good. Their new project.
Yeah, I'll go online. I'll go online and watch it.
Influence.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, Carrie Ann, what else would you want people to know? How can they help?
Well, you can just I'm always here if anybody wants help themselves or, just to chat, just reach out on Instagram or Facebook or just email me. My email's easy. It's just a dot between each name at Gmail. And yeah, just keep in touch with us, keep in touch with what we're doing, view our art, support our artists, and yeah, just here for you guys.
What would you say to aspiring artists? So somebody who wants to do this as a career, wants to follow that path, what advice would you have for them?
Well, I would tell them to do it and to find what makes them happy and just work at that. And I think I had a teacher in art school who was like, if you guys just work and make good work, keep doing, people will notice. It's really that simple. And I'm like, it kind of is, because I feel like I lean on that a lot and it works. So just keep making stuff, even if you don't feel like painting that day or whatever your medium is, like just find something creative to do with your hands to move you to the next step. And I also think finding a mentor to help you through it is also really beneficial. Like anything, like having a coach.
Right.
It's good.
Awesome.
This was great. I'm
Yeah.
house. We're gonna pick
Oh,
that
we
up.
gotta
And, yeah, when you guys get going too, and you start organizing events and stuff like that, let us know so we can help promote it. Because I think what you guys are doing is just amazing.
Thank
And,
you.
It is.
keep in touch with us. Let us know about the album too, because we'd like to have you back.
Yeah.
Maybe
you.
even
I will.
have you do a live performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've
nice.
heard some amazing things about your voice.
Yes.
Aw,
From a
thank
good
you.
friend of ours who said she has an amazing bluesy, sexy
Aw.
voice. That's
Yeah.
what said about.
We'll do a concert next time. It'll be fun.
Yeah, all the best to you guys, though, and thank you so
Yeah.
much for everything you're doing and for sharing the story with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you so much for asking me to be on here. This is so fun. I was posted on Facebook about this, and I was like, it really I realized I'm like, I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long. And I'm like, someday it'll happen, and then all of a sudden it manifests. So
You
it's
put it out in the universe. Yeah.
I
Here
did.
we
Yeah.
are.
And here
I
we
know,
are.
it's amazing. So I appreciate you
Let
guys.
us know if you want to start a podcast too. Why not?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do it.
Yeah. One more job. One more job. Yeah.
You know,
You
on the
have enough
list.
going on, Carrie Ann.
I'll delegate. I'll just pop in and say hi once in a while.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Carrie Ann.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And by the way, we do have the link up for the, is it a GoFundMe or Kickstarter? We did have that posted. So please check it out and help these guys renovate and get this place moving, because they're making a big difference
Yeah.
in our area.
Yep.
So
Definitely needed.
Cookie for St. Patrick's Day today.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. I get to work from home today. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Gina,
So Gina,
can you hear us,
Oh.
Gina?
I can. What'd you say?
I said,
What'd you say? Oh, so
I
you
said,
just
do we have a
tuned
green
out.
fortune cookie for St. Patty's Day?
You know what? Yes, we do. And I've been waiting because I forgot to grab it. So I have to step off for a second. I'm like, I don't want them to think like I'm out of here. So wait one second. Talk amongst yourselves. And before I leave to step over there to get it, know this about leprechauns. There are no women leprechauns. All leprechauns are men.
Sexist. Sexist.
That's
Wow.
I think
I'm appalled. I'm appalled. I really am.
Well, is it because are the women the fairies? Like, is that
Green is not our color. Green is not our color. And those shoes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. So leprechauns typically are cobblers and they're making shoes. So they're
See.
hiding the goals from the, legend has it. Who knows who's ever met one. But legend has it that leprechauns
I've met one. No.
leprechauns are the they're making the shoes. So you know, in that industry, that tends to be a man's job. Let's leave it at that. They make them, I'll wear them.
Yeah.
Nope, not wearing no leprechaun shoes. Nope.
I didn't say leprechaun made shoes. That's
I
all.
don't care if they have heels on them or not. I don't care.
All right, here we go. Our fortune for the day. Yes, I do have a green cookie. Oh, it's stuck in here. It says, a gambler not only will lose what he has, but he will also lose what he doesn't have.
I think that's
Okay.
St. Patrick's
Okay.
Oh, for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Don't drink too much.
fitting. That's
Listen,
fitting.
you got to find a way to make the fortune. I just picked the cookies out of the bin. You got to find a way to make the fortune work. I don't know.
Yes, teacher.
Pot of
Yes,
gold.
teacher.
That's true.
All right. And remember, sometimes the only mode of transportation available.
Is the leap of faith. Thanks for taking the leap of faith. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. It's sunny and
And happy St. Patty Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's
All
Day.
right.
Happy hump day. Have a great rest of your week.
thank you, Karen.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Carrie
Thank
Ann.
you. It was nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, everyone.